This morning, Brian Kohberger is waking up behind bars, as he will for the rest of his life, for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Court records show Kohberger has been booked at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution outside of Boise.
The high-profile case came to really a very emotional close yesterday, as more than a dozen people addressed the court and, in some cases, Brian Kohberger directly. Some gave written statements, others spoke in person, like Kaylee Goncalves' big sister Olivia, who vowed to not let her anger feed a man she described as a beast.
Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your ass.
The family of Xana, Madison, and Kaylee all delivered victim impact statements. Ethan Chapin's family did not attend the hearing. Among the raw emotion were moments of grace, notably from Xana's mother, who through her faith offered forgiveness.
Jesus has allowed me to forgive you for murdering my daughter without you even being sorry. This forgiveness has released me from any and all evil you have inflicted on me and my family.
Shortly after Kohberger received his sentence and the courtroom emptied, law enforcement who worked on the case started giving some details for the first time, and more revelations are expected as more documents are unsealed.
King 5's Jake Wittenberg is live in Ada County, right outside the prison where Kohberger is now serving his life sentence. So, Jake, what have you learned so far?
Hey, Christine and Mimi. Yeah, this prison here just outside of Boise is where Kohberger is beginning to serve out that life sentence. But he may have taken his secrets of a motive into solitary confinement with him. He offered no remorse yesterday, no details, speaking nothing about the case. We are starting to see details, though, emerge from investigators now that that gag order has been lifted. Yesterday, right after that sentencing you were just seeing there, the police and prosecutors in Latah County, where the crimes happened, held a press conference of their own to discuss the investigation, which they call one of the most extensive in Idaho state history. They confirmed they've never found any sort of social media connection between Kohberger or his victims or those 2 surviving roommates. And the lead prosecutor tells us there was no evidence to indicate Kohberger was any kind of serial killer in waiting. They do confirm, yes, that knife sheath left at the scene provided that crucial evidence, but they exhausted all resources looking for that knife.
It wasn't a lack of trying. Everywhere that we had evidence of where he went, based upon phone records, based upon the evidence that we had gathered, we searched that. We went there.
And we have finality and conclusion, not just for the families, but for everyone who suffered because of this.
Now, we are expecting more details to emerge in the days and weeks ahead as police and prosecutors release documents with that gag order lifted. We saw a few released yesterday. We did have a glimpse into it yesterday when Steve Goncalves came outside of the courthouse and told us more about the crime scene. He was briefed on that months ago, years ago. It may have been a more brutal crime scene at 11/22 than we first imagined. We'll hear more about that likely soon as well. But Christine and Mimi, I was struck yesterday by just how perplexed investigators were after all of this 2.5 years of investigation, all the tips and tricks and resources that law enforcement have at their disposal, and to this day, no connection whatsoever between Kohberger and the victims.
All right, Jake, thank you very much. Live for us right outside of the prison where Brian Kohberger will spend the rest of his life. We also, for the first time, heard from the 2 surviving roommates yesterday who were both home at the time of those killings.
They kicked off the emotional 3-hour court hearing. Drew Andre joins us now with more on this. So, Drew, what stood out to you about these 2 victim impact statements?
Right, well, they both really just shared how this has changed their life, how that one day has changed their life forever. One of them detailed the countless threats that she's received online and even described feeling some guilt, too. Now, Bethany Funk's friend tearfully read her victim impact statement. Funk said the crime has left her terrified, that she slept in her parents' room for nearly a year and hasn't slept through a night since. Then Dylan Mortensen, the other surviving roommate, walked to the podium. She sat and took a while to gather her composure before courageously speaking to the court. She said the killer, quote, shattered me in places I didn't know could break.
He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing. He tried to take everything from me. my friends, my safety, my identity, my future. He took their lives, but I will continue trying to be like them to make them proud.
Now, Kohberger sat still throughout the whole hearing, arms in the armrest. He looked directly at each person who spoke, but he didn't change his expression once.